For an individual who is looking to become an NF member, he's got to have that dedication to where at any given time he can either be killed or have to kill.
Inside the world's toughest prisons, power belongs to ruthless gangs that rule through fear, violence, and an ironclad code. These aren't just inmates. They're organized syndicates that control everything from contraband to life and death itself. Cross them, and you pay the ultimate price. Join us as we reveal the 15 most dangerous prison gangs that dominate the inside. Number 15. Texas Syndicate. The Texas Syndicate is a formidable and highly organized prison gang that first emerged in the 1970s as a response to the harsh realities of life behind bars. Initially formed by incarcerated Mexican Americans in California, the group quickly spread to Texas, where it solidified its power and influence. Unlike many other prison gangs, the Texas Syndicate was created not only for protection, but also to assert control over various illegal activities within the prison system. This gang is deeply rooted in principles of loyalty, brotherhood, and ethnic identity, emphasizing a strong bond among its members. The Texas Syndicate operates under a strict code of conduct, where betrayal or disloyalty is met with severe consequences, often leading to violent retribution. While the Texas Syndicate has a presence in multiple Texas prisons, its largest and most concentrated group of members is located in the Huntsville unit, also known as the Walls. This facility, one of the oldest and most notorious prisons in Texas, has housed some of the state's most dangerous criminals. The Texas Syndicate's influence in Huntsville is significant, with estimates suggesting that around 1,500 of its members are incarcerated there. This makes the gang one of the most dominant forces within the facility. The Texas Syndicate is involved in a wide array of criminal enterprises, both inside and outside prison walls. One of their most notable operations was a large-scale drug trafficking ring they orchestrated from within the Huntsville unit in 2019. The gang used a sophisticated network of connections, both inside the prison and on the outside, to smuggle and distribute drugs, generating substantial profits. Their reach extends beyond drug trafficking, with involvement in extortion, assaults, and even murder for hire, all coordinated from within the prison system. Number 14. Nuestra Familia. Nuestra Familia is a powerful criminal organization rooted in Mexican-American prison culture, originating in Northern California. It was officially established in 1965 at the Correctional Training Facility in Soledad, California. The gang was formed by a group of Mexican-American inmates who sought protection from the Mexican Mafia, a rival prison gang that had been established in 1957. The rivalry between these two groups intensified in the late 1960s, splitting Mexican-American inmates within California's state prison system into two factions based on their hometowns, those from the north siding with Nuestra Familia, and those from the south aligning with the Mexican Mafia. Bakersfield, California, serves as the dividing line between these groups. While members of the Norteños gang are often viewed as foot soldiers for Nuestra Familia, being part of Nuestra Familia does not necessarily mean being associated with the Norteños. Nuestra Familia started as a self-defense group, but quickly expanded its operations, becoming deeply involved in a range of criminal activities such as drug trafficking, extortion, and robbery, both inside and outside of prison. Law enforcement agencies believe that Nuestra Familia plays a significant role in orchestrating criminal activities carried out by thousands of Norteño gang members across California. Their primary sources of income come from the distribution of cocaine, heroin, marijuana, and methamphetamine within prisons and on the streets. They also generate substantial revenue by extorting drug dealers operating outside of prison walls. Nuestra Familia is notorious for its strict code of conduct, demanding absolute loyalty from its members. Those within the gang are known to enforce these rules with ruthless violence, making them a formidable force both inside the prison system and in the broader community. Their influence continues to grow, exerting control over various criminal enterprises and shaping California's organized crime landscape. Number 13. NETA. The NETA Association, also known as the Asociación Neta, is a notorious gang that originated in the Puerto Rican prison system and later spread to the mainland United States. Founded in 1979 by Carlos Torres Iriarte, who was also known by the nickname La Sombra, or the Shadow. The gang was born in the maximum security Oso Blanco prison in Rio Piedras, where several pro-independence political prisoners were being held. Initially, the group was formed as a mutual protection organization, aiming to improve living conditions for inmates and protect them from abuse by both prison guards and other inmates. The Nietas also emerged as a direct opposition to a rival gang known as Grupo 27, or the Insects. By the mid-1980s, the Nietas had multiplied, expanding their influence across 7 major prison facilities in Puerto Rico. They became a formidable force within the prison system, using their strength to pressure the prison administration into improving living conditions. The Nietas are particularly known for their strict stance against sexual offenders, pedophiles, and abusers, whom they often punish by isolating them in solitary confinement, cutting them off from the general prison population. As the gang's power grew, the Puerto Rico Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation was forced to separate the Nietas from their rivals, placing them in different buildings or even entirely separate facilities to prevent violent clashes. While Puerto Rico is home to numerous smaller street gangs, the Nietas have established themselves as the most dominant, especially within the island's prison system, where they control much of the illegal drug trade. They are heavily involved in drug trafficking and have a fierce reputation for violent confrontations, particularly with their main rival, the Latin Kings. Number 12. Mandingo Warriors. The Mandingo Warriors gang was established in 1984 by a group of black inmates in Texas prisons. They formed this organization to protect themselves from aggressive white supremacist groups such as the Aryan Brotherhood of Texas, as well as other dangerous prison gangs like the Texas Mafia and the Texas Syndicate. The creation of Mandingo Warriors was a direct response to the intense racial violence and power struggles within the prison system during the 1980s, a time when racial tensions were at an all-time high. The gang's organizational structure is intricate and hierarchical, resembling a military-style command. At the top is the committee, which is composed of the Commander-in-Chief, General, Administrator of Defense, Administrator of Information, and Administrator of Law. This committee not only oversees the gang's operations, but also has the power to appoint or remove knights, who hold significant authority within the gang. Other key roles within the organization include the Administrator of Finance, Captain, Sergeant, and First Corporal, each responsible for various aspects of the gang's internal and external operations. Members of the Mandingo Warriors identify themselves as Demo, a term that translates to sun, symbolizing enlightenment, strength, and resilience. Their chosen colors, red, black, and green, are deeply symbolic as well, representing blood, the African race, and the land, respectively. These colors are also a nod to the Pan-African flag, highlighting the gang's roots in black identity and resistance. While the Mandingo Warriors are less known compared to other prison gangs, they are infamous within the prison system for their ruthlessness. They are heavily involved in various criminal enterprises, including drug trafficking, extortion, and organized assaults. Their violent reputation is particularly noted for their brutal tactics against rival black gangs, as they aim to assert dominance within the prison system. Number 11. La Nuestra Familia. La Nuestra Familia, a powerful criminal organization, emerged from the confines of rural Mexican prisons as a defense against the Mexican Mafia, which was predominantly composed of urban Mexican inmates. Founded in the 1960s in California's prison system, La Nuestra Familia was initially a protective measure for rural inmates who found themselves outnumbered and threatened by the more dominant Mexican Mafia. Over time, the organization has adopted various aliases, including La Nuestra Familia, Norteño, Norte, and NFM, each reflecting different facets of its identity and operations. The group has successfully extended its influence beyond prison walls into street-level crime, becoming a formidable force in the world of organized crime. Known for its highly disciplined military-style structure, La Nuestra Familia enforces strict adherence to orders. Members are required to carry out violent tasks, such as assassinations, to maintain the group's power and control. This regimented approach not only ensures loyalty, but also fosters a culture of fear and intimidation. La Nuestra Familia's criminal activities are diverse and extensive. They are heavily involved in murder, often targeting rivals and those who threaten their dominance. Extortion is another major operation, where the group pressures businesses and individuals for money. Narcotics trafficking is a significant part of their operations, with the group controlling drug distribution networks across various regions. Additionally, they engage in robbery, burglary, and human trafficking, making them a versatile and dangerous criminal entity. Their influence is so widespread that they have established connections with other criminal organizations, further expanding their reach. The group's ability to blend violence with strategic alliances has made it a persistent and serious threat in the criminal underworld. Number 10. Fresno Bulldogs. The Fresno Bulldogs, a major criminal street and prison gang, are rooted in the Mexican-American community of Central California, specifically the 559 area. Their origins date back to the 1970s, but it wasn't until the 1980s that they truly established themselves as an independent gang. This development occurred during the tumultuous prison wars of 1984 and 1985 in California. Initially, when they were allied with the Norteños under the name F-14, they were part of a larger gang alliance. However, in 1986, tensions erupted into a fierce conflict with the Norteños, known in gang lore as the Red Wave. During this period, the F-14ers adopted Fresno State University's Bulldog logo as their own, incorporating the Bulldog's paw print and head into their graffiti and tattoos. They also began using Bulldog calling as a call sign, barking to each other and referring to themselves as Dog, Perro, or Eef. Their embrace of Fresno State apparel as a de facto uniform led to a significant boost in the university's merchandise sales, with royalties skyrocketing from the 1990s through the late 2000s. Today, the Fresno Bulldogs are recognized as one of the largest drug gangs in Central California, with members spread across cities such as Fresno, Selma, Kerman, Sanger, Clovis, Madera, San Joaquin, Coalinga, Huron, Mendota, Orange Cove, and Avenal. They are involved in a variety of criminal activities and have been linked to numerous high-profile cases over the years. Unlike many other Latino gangs, the Fresno Bulldogs do not align with the Norteños or Sureños, making them one of the most formidable and independent Hispanic gangs in California. Their ongoing conflicts with other prison gangs underscore their reputation as one of the most violent and influential independent gangs in the state. Number 9. Mara Salvatrucha, MS-13. MS-13, also known as Mara Salvatrucha, is a notorious international gang that began in Los Angeles in the 1980s. Over the years, it has grown to become one of the most infamous street gangs in the Western Hemisphere, with a network that extends far beyond the United States. The gang's presence is especially felt in the Northern Triangle, comprising Guatemala, El Salvador, and Honduras, a region that has become one of the most violent places in the world outside of a war zone, largely due to the activities of MS-13 and other criminal organizations. Originally, MS-13 started as a simple street gang with a different mission. In the beginning, the group was formed to protect refugees from El Salvador, Guatemala, and Nicaragua who had fled to the United States during the civil wars of the 1980s. However, the gang quickly shifted from its initial purpose, plunging into a wide range of criminal activities. Over time, MS-13 transformed into a transnational criminal organization involved in the illegal drug trade, arms trafficking, human smuggling, extortion, and other illicit enterprises. MS-13's influence also stretches deep into the prison systems across the United States and Central America, where they have established networks that help coordinate and expand their activities. Their violent nature is further highlighted by their ongoing feud with their main rival, the 18th Street Gang, a brutal gang war that has resulted in countless deaths, including innocent bystanders caught in the crossfire. Began as a group to provide protection, has evolved into a fearsome criminal powerhouse, known for its ruthless tactics and its entanglement in a range of illegal operations. Number 8. Aryan Brotherhood of Texas. The Aryan Brotherhood of Texas, also known as ABT, is a notorious American white supremacist and neo-Nazi gang that operates both inside prisons and on the streets. Despite its name, the Aryan Brotherhood of Texas is not connected to the Aryan Brotherhood, a separate and equally infamous prison gang founded in California during the 1960s. The California-based Aryan Brotherhood, which has branches within the federal and state prison systems and outside of them, denied a request from Texas inmates in 1981 to establish a chapter under their name. Undeterred, these Texas inmates went ahead and formed their version, which eventually became the Aryan Brotherhood of Texas. The formation of the ABT in the 1980s coincided with significant changes in Texas prisons, the desegregation of the prison system, and the dismantling of the building tender, or trustee system, a system where certain inmates were used by prison officials to maintain order, created a power vacuum. This environment of uncertainty and instability became a breeding ground for race-based prison gangs, with Black, Hispanic, and white groups vying for dominance. In this chaotic setting, the Aryan Brotherhood of Texas emerged as one of the most feared and powerful gangs. According to organizations like the Anti-Defamation League and the Southern Poverty Law Center, the ABT is now one of the largest and most violent neo-Nazi white supremacist gangs in the United States. They are responsible for numerous murders and other violent crimes, both inside and outside prison walls. The gang's extreme violence and deep criminal connections make them one of the most dangerous and influential groups within the United States prison system. Additionally, the Aryan Brotherhood of the West, a faction of the broader Aryan Brotherhood, is notorious for its brutal methods, including orchestrating murders and attacks. This faction, like the ABT, plays a significant role in the violent and dangerous underworld of American prisons. Number 7. Black Guerrilla Family, BGF. The Black Guerrilla family emerged in the turbulent 1960s, a period marked by the Black Power movement's quest for racial justice and equality. Founded by George Lester Jackson in 1966 while he was serving a life sentence at San Quentin State Prison, the BGF was initially created to safeguard African American inmates from rampant violence and systemic discrimination within the prison system. George Jackson, a key figure in the movement, was known for his activism and writings, which became influential in the struggle for prison reform and racial equality. His book, Soledad Brother, published in 1970, captured his experiences and the plight of African American prisoners, further cementing his legacy. The Black Guerrilla family's mission was initially to address the harsh conditions faced by Black inmates and to challenge the brutal treatment they endured. However, as the gang grew, its activities expanded significantly beyond its original goals. The BGF evolved into a more complex criminal organization with deep roots in organized crime. Its operations now include drug trafficking, racketeering, and acts of violence both inside prison walls and in the broader community. Maryland's State Prison, famously known as the Supermax due to its high security measures, is one of the key facilities where the BGF maintains a notable presence. Here, the gang's membership can range from several dozen to over 100 individuals, reflecting its substantial influence within the prison system. The Supermax facility is renowned for its strict isolation measures and is designed to house the most dangerous inmates, making it a strategic location for the BGF's operations. Beyond drug distribution, the BGF is involved in a variety of criminal enterprises. This includes orchestrating targeted attacks against rival gangs and individuals, which has contributed to the group's fearsome reputation. Number 6. Mexicanemi, Texas Mexican Mafia. Mexicanemi, also known as the Texas Mexican Mafia, is a formidable criminal organization with a complex history and significant influence. Founded in 1984 within the Texas Department of Criminal Justice prison system, Mexicanemi was established by individuals who had connections to the original Mexican Mafia in California. However, Mexicanemi operates independently and has developed its own distinct identity and network. The gang's name, Mexicanemi, reflects their strong cultural ties to Aztlan, a term used to denote the ancient lands of the southwestern United States that were once part of Mexico. This historical and cultural connection is central to their identity and influences their criminal enterprises. Mexicanemi's criminal activities are extensive and varied. They are deeply involved in drug trafficking, where they control significant portions of the drug trade within Texas and beyond. The gang also engages in loan sharking, extortion, and money laundering, utilizing sophisticated methods to hide their illicit profits. Their criminal operations are supported by a strict code of conduct, which ensures discipline and loyalty among members. In 2012, A large-scale investigation into Mexicanimi's operations led to a dramatic crackdown. Law enforcement agencies from various jurisdictions collaborated to dismantle the gang's network. The investigation culminated in the arrest of 25 individuals, including Michael Mayers, a police officer from Onalaska, Texas. Mayers was accused of providing the gang with an array of weapons, including handguns, assault rifles, and even internal police information. This breach of trust highlighted the gang's ability to infiltrate local law enforcement and secure crucial resources for their criminal activities. The indictment also revealed that Mexicanimi was involved in trafficking drugs on a massive scale, selling a wide range of illegal weapons and using detonation cords, which are often associated with explosive devices. Mexicanimi's high level of organization, coupled with its ability to adapt and expand its criminal enterprises, makes it one of the most dangerous and influential gangs operating within the Texas prison system and beyond. Number 5. Norteños. Norteños are a group of gangs that operate under the influence of the Nuestra Familia organization while in California's state and federal prisons. The Norteños, which means Northerners in Spanish, have their roots in a division that took place among 1968 Mexican-American inmates in California's prison system. This split led to the formation of two rival groups, the Norteños, who represented Northern California, and the Sureños, or Southerners, from Southern California. The division was based on where the inmates came from, with Norteños aligning themselves with Nuestra Familia, while the Sureños were allied with La M.A., also known as the Mexican Mafia. Originally, La M.A. was created to protect Mexican inmates in prison, but over time, members of La M.A. were perceived to be abusing those from rural farming areas in Northern California. This mistreatment set the stage for an ongoing feud between the two groups. The conflict officially ignited when a member of La M.A. allegedly stole a pair of shoes from a northern inmate, sparking what would become the longest-running gang war in California's history, and leading to the establishment of Nuestra Familia. Norteños often refer to Northern California as Norte Califas and view the Sureños, their counterparts from Southern California, as their greatest enemies. By 2008, the unofficial dividing line between the Norteños and Sureños was seen as the southern end of California's Central Valley. Most Norteños are Mexican Americans, and they are known for their fierce loyalty to Nuestra Familia and their violent rivalries with Sureños and other Latino gangs. The group has developed a strong presence both in and out of prison, becoming one of the most formidable Latino gangs in the state. Number 4. Sureños. The Sureños, also known as the Southern United Raza or Sur 13, operate both within and outside the prison system. Their origins trace back to a fierce prison rivalry between Mexican-American gangs in the California prison system during the mid-20th century. This rivalry was primarily between inmates from Southern and Northern California. The animosity ran deep. The gang members from the South thought their Northern counterparts were too country, while those from the North considered the Southerners too American. It was a volatile mix that only intensified when confined within the prison walls. The tension boiled over after a violent altercation where a Southerner killed another inmate over a pair of shoes. This incident marked the beginning of a division between the two groups. Those from Northern California formed their gang, while the Southern group became known as the Sureños. The Sureños are easily recognizable by their affinity for the color blue and the prominent tattoos of the gang's name on their bodies. When they aren't showing solidarity through their appearance, they're deeply involved in a range of criminal activities, including drug trafficking, extortion, and even murder. One high-profile case involves Gustavo Perez Arriaga, a Sureños member who was arrested in 2018 for the murder of a police officer during a routine traffic stop, sparking a massive manhunt. Authorities in Stanislaus County, California, later reported that they had found the likely murder weapon. Although the Sureños are primarily based in Southern California, their reach extends far beyond the state's borders, with members spread across around 35 United States states. The gang's leadership remains rooted in the California prison system, but they maintain strong connections with drug trafficking operations in Mexico. They are heavily involved in the distribution of cocaine, heroin, marijuana, and methamphetamine. Number 3. Aryan Brotherhood. Before the 1960s, most prisons in the United States were segregated by race. However, as the country began moving toward desegregation, many inmates started forming gangs for protection and power. This led to the creation of the Aryan Brotherhood, a white supremacist gang that is believed to have originated at San Quentin State Prison in California. From there, their influence quickly spread throughout the California prison system. By 1975, the Aryan Brotherhood had evolved into a formidable criminal organization, engaging in violent clashes with rival prison gangs like La M, also known as the Mexican Mafia, Nuestra Familia, and the Black Guerrilla Family. These brutal conflicts, often referred to as race wars, forced prison authorities in California to take drastic measures. In an attempt to curb the violence, they began separating different gangs by placing them in separate facilities. The Aryan Brotherhood was moved to Chino Prison, where the gang began to grow more structured, establishing a clear chain of command and leadership. As the gang expanded in size and power, so did their ambitions. By the 1990s, they shifted focus from racially motivated violence to more profitable organized crimes, such as drug trafficking, prostitution, and contract killings. The Aryan Brotherhood became so powerful that many believed they held more influence than even the American Mafia within the prison system. Having secured their control inside the prisons, the Aryan Brotherhood began extending their operations beyond the prison walls, recruiting new members and solidifying their position in the criminal underworld. Today, the Aryan Brotherhood is estimated to have between 15,000 to 20,000 members, both inside and outside of prison, making them one of the largest and most dangerous organized crime groups in the United States. Number 2. Mexican Mafia. The Mexican Mafia, or La M, is not just one of the most powerful prison gangs in the United States. It is a shadowy and formidable force that has shaped the landscape of organized crime for decades. Formed in the 1950s within the walls of California's dual vocational institution, the gang was initially established by 13 Mexican-American inmates from East Los Angeles. These founding members aimed to protect themselves against other ethnic gangs and prison guards, but their ambitions quickly grew beyond simple self-defense. Unlike many prison gangs, the Mexican Mafia operates with a strict code of conduct and a sophisticated hierarchy. Members are bound by a set of rules known as La Causa, which emphasizes loyalty, respect, and secrecy. Violation of these rules can result in severe punishments, including death. Unlike other gangs, La M allows only men of Mexican descent, specifically those with Chicano heritage, to become full-fledged members, ensuring a tight-knit brotherhood that extends well beyond prison walls. San Quentin State Prison remains one of the gang's most significant strongholds, where around 200 members control drug trafficking, extortion, and other illegal activities with an iron grip. The prison's internal economy is heavily influenced by the Mexican Mafia, with everything from cigarettes to contraband cell phones falling under their control. Inside San Quentin, the gang's members operate like a militarized unit, communicating through coded messages and relying on an intricate system of trust and fear to maintain their power. However, the Mexican Mafia's influence is not confined to prison. With an estimated 350 to 500 official members and a network of thousands of associates, La M's reach extends to the streets, particularly in Southern California. Here, more than 50,000 street-level gang members, often affiliated with local street gangs, act as the Mafia's foot soldiers, carrying out orders in exchange for protection, drugs, or the promise of full membership. These foot soldiers are involved in everything from drug trafficking, extortion, murder for hire, and even human trafficking. Number 1. Aryan Brotherhood of the West. The Aryan Brotherhood of the West is a notorious and highly feared offshoot of the larger Aryan Brotherhood, an organization infamous for its extreme violence and ruthless operations. Founded in the 1960s within the California prison system, the Aryan Brotherhood initially formed as a response to racial tensions and conflicts with other prison gangs, particularly African American and Hispanic groups. Over time, it evolved into one of the most dangerous and influential prison gangs in the United States. The Aryan Brotherhood of the West has been linked to a staggering number of high-profile murders, contract killings, and violent assaults, not only within the confines of prison walls, but also in the outside world. Their operations are meticulously planned, often involving detailed surveillance and execution of their targets. This faction adheres to a white supremacist ideology, viewing themselves as soldiers in a racial war. Their brutal methods include targeted assassinations of rivals, other gang members, and even law enforcement officers who stand in their way. Their influence permeates deeply into the United States prison system, where they command a vast and complex network built on alliances, fear, and sheer brutality. The Aryan Brotherhood of the West is known for using sophisticated codes, encrypted language, and distinctive symbols, including tattoos that signify rank, loyalty, and specific affiliations within the gang. These tattoos often incorporate Nazi symbols, such as swastikas or SS bolts, and can also include the letters AB, denoting membership in the Aryan Brotherhood. In addition to their violent activities, the Aryan Brotherhood of the West is heavily involved in a range of illicit operations, including drug trafficking, extortion, and arms smuggling. These criminal enterprises generate significant revenue, which is used to fund their operations, bribe corrupt officials, and extend their influence both inside and outside of prison.